look, with 2024 basically here, Trump is surging, Biden and the Democrats are flopping on every front, and they're going to turn to a campaign of fear. Mark it, 12/27, we said it right here. The next play is to make every American value that we hold near and dear into some anti-state terrorist view, and they're already starting.
In this case, it's rural race. They are so angry at the liberal establishment, the coastal elite. They look at people on television, they say, oh, those people on Saturday Night Live, those snarling rich kids, I know who they are. They're all trust funders. They don't have to worry about us. And the regular guy in the country goes, there they are, snarling and making fun of us again. And every time we make fun of Trump, we're making fun of them. That's the weird, it's a weird thing. But in a way, it's like fighting terrorism. I mean,
that was Chris Matthews on MSNBC. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, anyone, he just calls anyone who disagrees with his ivory tower monolithic view of groupthink, they call us terrorists. Nice, Chris. And these people, they never look introspectively. It's never, hey, what can I do differently? No. It's always, what the hell is the matter with everyone else? Why don't they think exactly like us coastal elites? And you know what angers me the most about watching these clowns on TV talking down to middle America is that these people and their lofty lifestyles wouldn't last 10 seconds without the heartbeat of America. Who do you think grows your food, Chris Matthews? You go to a grocery store in a big city. That food was grown, something you could never do, by the way, likely by someone without a college degree, delivered on a truck that you would have no idea how to drive, shipped in heavy boxes that I bet you couldn't even lift. And when you pick up that organic vegetable out of the fridge in the store, you should know that the electricity being delivered by the fuel that was mined or pumped out of the ground by the same people you just called terrorists. That same fuel that you think we shouldn't use because of climate change while you sit in your massive air-conditioned house. And your ignorant and divisive rhetoric is broadcast over wires that were all hung across the same middle America 200 feet above the ground by linemen who climbed up there and risked their lives to put food on their families' tables. Another thing you couldn't do, Chris. And all this, including your right to say whatever the hell you want, is protected by police who have to wear bulletproof vests to work every day because your rhetoric, Chris, has made people hate cops. In a nation that is protected by an all-volunteer military that is being attacked all over the world because you carried water for Joe Biden to become the commander-in-chief. Another reality you can't even comprehend is the real-world consequences of. I'd pay for the plane ticket to see you try to survive in a war zone, Chris. So you want to know why people like me and the huge swath of this country don't like you and your cohorts? That's why. You insult everyone who doesn't think exactly like you and never consider for a second that it might be you that's wrong. And why? Because you talk to a camera for a living? Maybe try walking into a diner. Try talking to Americans instead of your liberal echo chamber. I challenge you to live one day in the life of any Trump-supporting middle American that you just called terrorists. You and your soft, non-calloused hands wouldn't last 5 seconds in that environment. Look, I know I'm a TV guy too, technically, but I've been in these trenches. I've been in combat. I worked in construction for years. And when I'm not here, I'm up at my farm teaching my kids how to grow up to be precisely the opposite of what Chris Matthews is. And all these facts are precisely why places like CNN must make us out to be threats.
Part of what the goal here is to make people in authority feel nervous about how they're going to rule, how they're going to prosecute, what decisions they're going to make, and the extent to which they themselves, and of course their family and children, might be exposed to violence or even the threat of violence.
You think Trump and those voting for him are intimidating judges? Now do Chuck Schumer.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the top guy in the U.S. Senate right now. Where was this analyst then? The hubris is staggering. She went on to say this.
I think the second is we are, it's about to be 2024. We are running into an election period in which violence and the threat of violence are sort of viewed as an extension of our normal democratic differences. I mean, this is one of the successes of what Donald Trump has been able to do, is to sort of sort of to be kind of casual about violence. And that's sort of the bigger fear there.
Trump is the guy utilizing violence? He's the guy utilizing the threat of violence? Lady, the sitting vice president bailed out rioters who burned down city blocks for BLM. Not a peep then. There's more than 400 million guns in America, and we, the people she is talking about, own most of them. If we were a problem, you'd know. But this is their play. The left has set up the next election to have unrest on both sides, no matter the outcome. I mean, think about it. If Trump loses, a bunch of us, and I'm including myself in this, are going to be very angry that he was forced to spend time in courtrooms instead of on the campaign trail. We are going to think that this election was massively interfered with via the lawfare of the unlimited resources of the state in a massive, massive election interference. And for God's sakes, they're trying to kick him off the ballot. They did it in Colorado, at least for now. Thankfully, Michigan just upheld it. But without so much as a conviction, he's not guilty of anything. You don't think that makes people like me angry? But when Trump does win, think about this. The left, a huge swath of them, have been totally convinced that Trump is somehow a criminal and therefore should not have ever been on the ballot at all. They have convinced an entire swath of the Democratic Party of this. And the talking heads will somehow equate their level of outrage with some level of justification to essentially endorse an uprising. There will literally be riots in the streets, folks. This is what the left wants. They want chaos. They want to make it impossible to govern. The left wants to draw such a divide in this country that we break down. Left versus right, black versus white, urban versus rural, white collar versus blue collar. Because if we're all fighting, the god-awful policies of Joe Biden are not the headline. It's unbelievable.